Okay, so something really special just happened in the Oliso booth. What did you get?
I got a Oliso iron.
So this is the M3 Pro, and did you enter a contest? What happened?
I did. I signed up, and I got a call that I won.
Congratulations.
My first time to QuiltCon, and one of the first things I signed up for.
Well, this is a great iron. You're going to love this. And you also won a mat, a wool mat. So these are kind of cool, these wool mats by Oliso. You can take these and join them together. So if you want to buy a few, you can build them.
Cool.
So that's fun. So this is your first QuiltCon. What was your favorite part so far?
Seeing all the people I watch on YouTube. I started quilting in COVID 2020 as a stress relief because I'm a healthcare worker.
Oh, awesome.
So I started, and I learned through watching YouTubers, creators, so getting to meet them and letting them know that they helped me along my quilt journey.
Well, first of all, thank you for the service that you provided because healthcare is a really tough industry, especially in the last few years. So thank you for that. I'm really glad that you enjoyed the show. Can you tell me a little bit about the type of quilting you like to do?
I like to try all different kinds. Since I'm a new, I like to try. I watch the videos, fat quarter shop videos, and Jordan Fabrics was one of the first people I learned, and Riley Blake, and so I just like to do piecing. Piecing's my favorite part. Well,
congratulations on being the winner of the MP. I'm so excited. You're going to love this.
I am
it's
so
the M3
excited.
Pro. It's a project iron. It has the power of a full iron. It has steam. It even has a headlight.
I know. Oh, that's so awesome.
So if you're quilting into the wee hours of the night, midnight, you'll be able to use the headlight.
This will be great for my, right next to my sewing machine because I have to get up and
okay, before we go, I want you to tell us your name and where you're from.
I'm Ronnie Ayala, and I'm from Greenville, South Carolina.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
and thanks
you
for
so
stopping
much.
by the podcast lounge.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have someone very special in the Oliso story space. So tell us your name.
I'm Fiona Johnston. Online, I am Spun Straw.
Yeah, and where are you from?
I live in Scotland.
Scotland. Yeah. You've come from so far away.
I have.
Well, congratulations for being a faculty. So can you tell us about what you're teaching this year?
So I'm teaching a class on tiny circles. Teeny tiny circles.
Tiny. Yeah.
So I've got some things with me. So this is a 4-inch coaster.
Yeah. Let me show it really close up. This is a 4-inch coaster. And it's got the most adorable teeny tiny circles in it. And there's a product out there that did you create? How are you involved in that product?
So I started working with Jen Carlton Bailey's curvlets in COVID, and then I made a whole quilt which won People's Choice in Atlanta in 2023.
Oh, awesome.
And then during that process of making that quilt, I kind of came up with these curvlitos, which are half the size of hers.
Okay.
So they are a 1/2-inch quarter circle, which are teensy weensy.
Yeah.
And so I'm working on getting the templates available for sale.
Yeah,
so.
and of course she fell in love with that. She featured you in her booth this year.
Yeah.
And they sold out really quick, right?
So I had some arc sets, which is for making like snake trail blocks, using her curvlets and my curvlitos working together. So they sold out immediately, which was very exciting.
Cool. So what else do you have to show us here?
So this is basically just kind of the same thing unfinished.
Yeah.
And this
oh my
is
gosh.
just the circles.
That are just circles. Okay, let's show these close up. And I want to talk now about the quilt that you have in QuiltCon. You got a quilt in the show.
Yes,
That's awesome.
I've got one in the small quilt section, and it is a small quilt.
It's very small, and it's got those little curves in it too.
So that one is my curvlito, so it's a 1/2-inch quarter circle on the outer curve, and then it's a snake trail quilt, so the inner curve is only a 1/4-inch quarter circle. Yeah. So the whole quilt itself is about 10 inches by 10 inches.
Yeah, and I did feature that quilt this morning in a live, so go back and watch that on my Instagram. And when I walked up to it, I was like, what now? Like that is, it's so small and it's so tiny. Like, is it just as hard to make a huge quilt as it is to make these tiny quilts?
Yeah, I mean, when you get smaller, you're kind of getting a bit more intricate and you need to be a little bit more precise. Yeah. But it also goes quicker if you're making something small. So making a big quilt out of tiny pieces would take a lot longer, but making a tiny quilt out of tiny pieces probably takes the same amount of time as if you're making, if you scale it up.
Yeah, really cool. Okay, so if someone is watching this YouTube video right now on the Quilter on Fire YouTube channel, make sure you pop a subscribe down below, but I want them to know where they can find you online.
So you can find me on Instagram at spunstraw. I have a website, spunstraw.co.uk. I'm on Facebook. Everywhere I'm Spunstraw. So it should hopefully be easy to find.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Fiona, for
thank you for having me.
Oliso Story Space. We're here today. We're talking to quilters, everyone walking by. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
welcome. I've got Adrien White in the podcast lounge. Thank you for coming by.
No
you
problem.
stopped by and said hello because you listen to the podcast. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening. So, how long have you been quilting?
I have been quilting going on 12 years now.
Wow.
And I started making baby quilts for friends and family.
Yeah.
And then they started having more kids. So then I started making diaper bags, and now I'm really a bag girly. So.
Oh, sweet, sweet. So you love quilting. Do you do more traditional quilting, or do you love modern? What's your favorite?
So I would say I do traditional quilts, but with modern fabrics.
Oh, nice.
So they're all very bright and vibrant.
Yeah.
And then I do try to get outside of my comfort zone every now and then. I just started foundation paper piecing.
Oh, fun.
And EPP.
Yeah.
Just because I'm addicted to Tula Pink. So
Yeah, and it's good for the mind and handwork.
Yeah. And I brought a whole bunch of projects to work on the plane, and I crocheted a little baby blanket on the way here. So I'm still getting my fix, even though I'm not from here.
Yeah.
And I'm traveling. I didn't get to bring all my stuff. So.
So where are you from?
So I'm from Houston.
Okay.
I actually went to ASU. So I lived in Phoenix for a while, but I moved to Houston. So I've been there about 14 years.
Oh, okay. And have you been to the Houston show before?
Yes.
Okay.
So I've been going to the Houston show for about 8 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing. It blew my mind the first time I went. I was 8 months pregnant at the time.
Wow.
And my friend was like, "Are you okay? Do you need to sit down?" I was like, "Yeah, we need to take a break." And then after that, I was hooked.
Yeah. So we're at QuiltCon Day 3, 2025. So what is this your first QuiltCon?
This is my first QuiltCon.
First one.
I've been trying to go for the last 2 years because I have family in Raleigh.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go last year. It didn't work. And then the year before that, it was also in Phoenix. And I went to ASU, so I was trying to get out here then too, but it just didn't work out. So.
Well, Raleigh next year. So
I know.
Okay, so what's been your favorite part of the show?
So my favorite part is actually meeting people. So a lot of the vendors have little projects that they let people work on, or they have fabric giveaways and things.
Yeah.
So I sit down at a table, I get a little bit of sewing done, and I'm meeting, 10 people, and we're chatting, and I've made some new friends.
Yeah.
They're gonna come to Houston and visit. So.
Oh, good. This is our community, right?
I know, I love it so much.
Well, Adrien, thank you so much for stopping by. Do you have an Instagram handle or
I
anything
do.
you wanna
So my business is Overly Social.
Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. Wait a
Okay.
minute. You have a business?
I do.
Okay, let's talk about Overly Social.
Yes.
Okay.
So we started our business about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And it was really just a friend and I do a craft show every December before Christmas in her neighborhood.
Yeah.
So we make quilts, bags, and sell them there.
Yeah.
And then we had so many people contacting us after, like, do you make more? Because we would ramp up for the show, and then after that, it's kind of just fun projects.
Yeah.
So we put together the business, and I started to go to my local shops. So my favorite shops in Houston, Sewing and Vacuum Warehouse in Houston and Conroe, and then also Threaded Lines in Montgomery.
Okay.
So I walked into the shop with one of my backpacks, and she's like, "Did you make that?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Do you want to teach classes?" And I said, "I would love to teach classes."
Oh,
so
great.
I've been teaching classes for a year.
Oh, fun.
And so I have Saturdays, bag making. We're trying some new bags. We actually started doing a retreat.
Yeah.
So we just had our retreat in January, our second one.
Oh,
And I've got about 10 ladies that we just are constantly in touch with each other. And I feel like the sewing community is just very uplifting.
Yeah.
So in any times that I'm feeling down, I can call them and we'll just get together and sew, and then I feel much better after.
Oh, that's awesome. So if you're watching this right now and you go to the Houston show every year, or you're going for the first time, you can go to those quilt shops, right?
Yes.
Let's give them a shout out again. What are the two shops?
Sewing and Vacuum Warehouse
Okay.
in Houston,
Yeah.
and then they also have a location in Conroe.
Okay.
And then in Montgomery, which is a little bit north of Houston, there is Threaded Lines, who they're actually here on the
okay.
first aisle.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
Okay, good.
I stopped by and hung out with them for a little bit.
Okay, so tell us where we can find you on social media.
So on Instagram, it's at Overly Social, and I spell social S-E-W.
Okay.
And then on TikTok, we're overly.social.
Okay, spell overly as well, just so we know.
O-V-E-R-L-Y.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for stopping by
Thank
the podcast.
you so
Lounge.
much. And I want to take pictures.
Oh, it's nice to meet you. Yes, let's take pictures for sure. Okay. I have a very special guest in the Oliso story space today. Tell us your name and where you're from.
My name is Denise Volken, and I am from Inver Grove Heights in Minnesota.
Okay, and you have a very special story that you're sharing with us
Yes.
today. What's going on?
So, last summer we planned to come to QuiltCon. My aunt and several other quilters, friends of ours, And she had been battling cancer for the last 3 years, and she was in remission, so it was her goal to get to QuiltCon.
Yeah.
And in January, the cancer came back just terribly, and she ended up in the Mayo Clinic, or Mayo Hospital, and I said, Sherry's coming with us as a flat Sherry. And so I've been introducing flat Sherry to all of the important and beautiful people and quilters and anybody who asks, and everyone has been so supportive, and it's just been wonderful to widen the support that she has with her battle.
Oh, well, what a sweet story. So I'm going to send wishes out there to the universe that Sherry gets better and feels much better soon. And thank you so much for sharing that story with us and stopping by the podcast lounge.
Thank you.
Here we are in the Oliso Stories space with Joe Westfoot. Thank you for stopping by. So tell us a little bit about your crafty biz.
So I'm a patchwork and quilting teacher from the UK. I teach mainly online now in my online sewing school. The main part of that would be the Quilt Hive membership, which is kind of like a new class every month. So there's a lovely catalogue of about 40 classes in there now.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world, so tell us where you are in the world.
Yeah, so I'm based in the south of England, in a little village, very quintessentially English village. Live there with my husband and sometimes my daughter, my boomerang daughter, and the cat.
Yeah. And your business is the Crafty Nomad.
That is correct.
How did you come up with that name? It's really fun.
So we travelled with my husband's job for about 10 years. So we lived in 3 different countries. So we started in Singapore, we lived in Italy, and then Australia for a number of years, 10 in total. And we've been back 13 years now. I didn't realise it's that long. So yeah, we've been back longer now than we were away, but that's where the name came from, because I started to craft when we lived abroad.
Kind of a nomadic life, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so tell us a little bit more about your membership.
Yep, so it's called the Quilt Hive, and it's a learning membership. So it really does focus in on learning new patchwork and quilting techniques. So it's great for people who are relatively new to the craft, but it's also really good for intermediates who perhaps might be confident in all the basics, but they might want to learn, different techniques like trapunto, or foundation paper piecing. Trying to think off the top of my head now all the different classes that are in there. Freemason quilting, matchstick quilting, ruler quilting. There's lots of things coming up. Mainly they've been taught by me, but we've now got guest teachers coming in, which is really fun. So later this year we've got a ruler quilting teacher coming in to teach. So some really classes that are being asked for by the members. I'm now looking for specialist teachers to teach. Yeah,
and you have a really great free motion online course, and you are about to revamp all the videos for that, right?
Yes, that's right. So when I first went online teaching, the free motion quilting course was the first one I took online, because it's the one that was most successful in the in-person teaching classes that I taught. And so we took that online, really successful online, because people can do it in their own comfortable space, in their own time. They're not stressed, they don't get overwhelmed with information. It's a really successful course, but it's now 3 years old, and so it needs a little bit more updating. So later this year we'll be updating it and running it in the autumn, in the fall.
So that is awesome. So let's talk about where they can find that if they want to take any of your courses or join your membership.
Sure. So thecraftynomad.co.uk.
Okay, so that's where they can find you. But we are at QuiltCon 2025, and so tell me a little bit about what's happening at the show for you.
So I've got a quilt in the show, which is very exciting. It's called the Glitter Ball, and
we have a sticker here.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to show this a little bit close. So this is the quilt. Whoops, this is the quilt she has in the show. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so it was actually a Block of the Month program that I ran 3 years ago, I think in 2022. And my Block of the Months are a little bit different to most. So they were learning a skill each month, and that was a column. So they would make a column each month to make that quilt. And this is its third and final try of getting into QuiltCon. I have tried in 2022, so 2023, 2024, and then it got in this year.
That's awesome. And well, I guess the jurors are different every year. And so there's no point, and you might as well keep trying, right?
Well, yeah, you get 3 chances. So you get 3 chances because they can only take it up to 3 years, old. and I wasn't going to enter this year because I thought, maybe it's not the
Yeah.
right one. It hasn't been juried in. It's not the right one for this show. And a friend encouraged me to just give it a go.
Just
So,
go for it one
yeah.
more time. And so how did it feel when you got that email?
Yeah, really good, really good. Yeah, it was
And
great.
have you had photos in front of it and everything?
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, it's always exciting.
So
to come
which
and see it, yeah.
category is it entered in?
It's in piecing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it could have sat in modern traditionalism as well. So it's always
Yeah.
difficult to choose a category. Yeah.
So when you did the block of the month, you did these vertical
Yes.
rows,
Yep.
and then sort of the finished quilt hangs like this?
No, it hangs, yeah,
like
so it's
this?
columns,
Okay,
yeah,
so
so
I
it
think
goes
I
on
was
the
showing it wrong before,
Oh,
so
that's okay.
let's just show it a little closer. So this is what it looks like, and that was the block of the month.
Technically,
Awesome.
it could hang either way.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, congratulations for having a quilt in the show.
you.
I'm trying to think, is there anything else that's coming up soon for you that's kind of fun? You've been doing cruises. You've been doing all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, we did a cruise. I did a cruise last year, which was really fun to teach on a cruise.
Yeah.
We've just finished a retreat. So my first retreat that I've ever ran, and that was for the Quilt Hive membership. So that was really lovely.
So you got to meet some of them in person?
Yeah, and they got to meet each other. So the really important
Yeah.
thing was to actually have people meet each other and grow that community.
So
And,
where was that retreat?
just outside Reading in the UK.
Oh, wow.
But we had someone from America come over for
Really?
it, which was really
Wow,
fun.
that is a far flight. It's a
Yes.
long haul to get over
Yeah,
there.
yeah, but it was great.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh, well, congratulations, Joe, on getting your quilt in the show.
you.
And thanks for stopping by the podcast lounge.
Really good to talk to you again.
Yeah, you
really
too.
good. Thanks so much.
I have a brand new person I've never met before in the podcast lounge, so tell me your name.
I'm Elu Hernandez of Made or Remade.
It's really nice to meet you. Made or remade. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what you bring to the world with your craft.
Thank you, Brandy. I specialize in quilting with reclaimed materials, in part because I want to save the world, and in part because it's a thriftier, more economical way of doing things.
Yeah.
And so I specialize in all reclaimed materials, but I've had a recent obsession with denim, and I love the thrifting, I love the accumulation, I love the deconstruction, and then all the steps that go from that to the hand quilting, where I find a little bit of therapy, a little bit of meditation, and that's a big part of what I feel I need anymore for my mental health, and then to produce what I think of as cool finished pieces.
So great. And you showed me a picture of a quilt that's in progress right now. Is it called the fingerprint quilt? There's these massive fingerprints on. Tell me about it.
It's my fingerprint quilt, and conceptually last year I saw a lot of fingerprints in Raleigh, and I came up with the idea of this fingerprint without figuring out the actual application of it. And so when I finally got around to making and figuring out the concept, that fingerprint became this criminal. And this criminal refers to our daughter and all the crimes and things that she's done against us. And so that's
All the
criminal.
little miniature childhood crimes.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about some of the crimes she would commit.
This criminal has killed my sleep and stolen my food, and she has broken and entered the bathroom way too many times. And she
Can I just have a moment? Can I have my space in the bathroom? Yes, that's common
Yes,
sense.
but no. And she's also taught us love and how to be more patient, and she inspires all the giggles, and that's a short list of her crimes.
Yeah, that is so great. And just to describe this quilt, it's got this gorgeous blue background. Is that made of jean or just multiple fabrics?
Those are denim. That's denim. Yep.
Okay. And then it's got these, are they gold, like or yellow fingerprints on them? Yeah, so just gorgeous. And they're massive fingerprints. What size is the quilt?
It's probably 5 foot by about 4 feet, and the fingerprints are somewhere around 2.5 feet from top to bottom.
Oh, so cool.
1.5 to 2 fingerprints on there.
Yeah. And what's your dream with this quilt? Are you going to enter it in QuiltCon, or what are you going to do with it?
I would like to submit it at some point.
Yeah.
I would like people to look at it and get up close and touch it and handle it and potentially be inspired by it.
Yeah, so do you have a Quilty Biz or an Instagram handle you want to share?
I'm at Made or Remade on Instagram.
Made or Remade? Okay.
Made or Remade, all one word, and that's where you'll see a lot of my blue jean and reclaimed creations.
Yeah, so fun. So I'm going to remind you again, in this YouTube video, I am interviewing so many people, but please go and follow the people that you love. If you fill your feed with people who are doing creative things that you love, you're just going to have so much joy on your social social media. So yeah, come on in. And here's Zach.
Hi again. So me and my buddy Elu did a cute little zine that you can check out about how to cut up blue jeans.
Oh, there you go.
And Elu is the one that taught me how to deconstruct the chain stitch that runs around the waist, because that is some fantastic thread, worth saving. So check out that zine. You can find that at zachfoster.com. You probably find it on your shop too, right?
Yep, made a
So
remix.
you're literally pulling apart the thread and reusing it. That is so great.
Yeah, thank you.
And what made you think of that? I mean, that's solid thread. It's got to be good thread. So you're using it in jeans. Can you tell me a little bit about your jeans? I'm not sure if we can see it in the video, but we've got jeans here that he's stitched all over his jeans.
Yeah, I bought these new 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've worn through the thighs and the crotch and the pockets and all
they're your
the parts.
favorite, so you
They're
don't
my
want to let them
favorite,
go.
So I've mended them.
Yeah,
I've mended them over and over. But I tripped into this concept of thread harvesting accidentally, the way a lot of us do when we're taking apart clothes.
Yeah.
And I found that thread is not only beautiful, but it's functional. And so with my quilts, especially the recent ones, there is nothing new in the quilts. The reclaimed top, the reclaimed back, the reclaimed batting, the reclaimed thread for quilting, and there's secondhand thread to piece everything together. So
that's perfect.
Nothing new, not even the thread.
And where do you live in the world?
I live in the Denver area.
The Denver area. So do you have a lot of thrifty spots you like to go to find
There
your
are
stuff?
wonderful thrift stores, and there's two really special stores out there. One is called Art Parts in Boulder, and one is called Recreative in Denver. And those are thrift stores for art supplies. And that's easily my favorite stores in those areas, and I'm happy to talk about them.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by. It's been so nice to share a bit of your story.
Thank you very much, Brandy. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. I have a good friend in the podcast lounge. We have had you on the podcast before.
Yes, way at the
Yeah, it was a couple years ago already. So we have Bill Stearman in the podcast lounge. So how are you enjoying QuiltCon so far?
I love QuiltCon. It's like coming home.
Yeah.
And what I like best of all is you can just sit down somewhere by yourself, and somebody will sit beside you, and you'll have a new friend.
That is so true, so true. So what have you enjoyed most so far about the show?
I love the quilts, and I love the fact that it humbles me. I think I'm a colorful quilter, and then I come here and I look at, and I just think I have to push what I'm doing because I'm not colorful enough. I love being pushed.
I love everything you do, Bill. And so let's tell the world a little bit about what you bring to the world with your quilting.
People say that I am honest and brave, but I think honest is the word that I would use. It's my life. I spent 47 years living a big secret. When I came out at age 47, I swore I would never have another secret. So I talk about childhood sexual abuse, depression, certainly a lot of queer rights, and right now especially with issues coming, that's a lot of the focus. And just human rights, and that's why I call myself a quiltivist, which is a quilter and an activist kind of put together.
Yeah, so good. So can you describe some of your quilts to us?
I just did one that is just half square triangles, and it's big bold reds and oranges and hot pinks on a dark teal. And in the middle of it is one I just square, and I flipped one out so it looks like an envelope opened up, and then down at the bottom there's a big square with nothing in it, and it's called Letter to My 13-Year-Old Self. And then the big square at the bottom is written, Dear you, different is okay, you will be loved, you are worthy, love me.
Oh, that is so meaningful.
It is,
Yeah, and I love the fact that all of your quilts have some really good meaning to them. I've seen so many of them over the years, and of course, we've featured you on the podcast. So if you're watching us right now,
in the single digits,
make sure you go back a couple of years.
Yeah.
We're at episode 195 right now. But go back to the beginning and listen to this podcast episode. So you are about to do something where you're going across Canada. So tell us about that.
I am.
Can we talk about it, or is it a secret?
Can. A year and a half ago, somebody referred to me as a queer elder, and I was quite taken aback by that because I still was at that time thinking I was a hot young thing.
Yeah, of course.
Queer elder. And so that got me thinking about kind of responsibilities that go with that.
Yeah.
And I had that transplant thing, so I got extra years, so I'm obsessed with using those years to make a difference.
Yeah.
And I just decided that queer history needs to be told by the elders while we're still alive.
Yeah.
And so that history doesn't repeat itself, and that we don't see things going backwards. Rights for queer folk in Canada are so recent. It's my life. It was 20 before it was even legal. So that's kind of the focus of it. But because I'm a quilter, I and I'm going to be driving into communities where I know no one.
Yeah.
I've decided, and I've reached out to quilt guilds, so I probably have close to 20 so far, all the way across Canada and into the Northwest Territories and Yukon, and they're going to host me.
Yeah.
So I will do a backpack show, which is what I call my trunk show, and a half-day workshop on the True Colors CQA's 2025. Yeah, and so they're going to host me, put me up for a night, feed me breakfast, and just so when I drive into a community and I know no one, as a 75-year-old dude, I'm not going to feel alone. I will have a community and just that feeling that comes with it. So
yeah, that is so great. So I want everyone to know where they can find you on the social media and everything like that, because they might be living in Canada, they might be thinking, I want to go to that guild, or I want to find out where we can, you'll probably be posting on social media and stuff like that.
I'm hoping an awful lot to keep track of things through my Instagram, which is just at Bill_Stearman.
Okay.
And I'm going to do a lot of video stuff, because I'm interviewing the queer elders, and it'll all be recorded like this, and they'll be videoed like this. So that a lot of those videos and a lot of the snippets from that will be also on my website, which is billstearman.ca.
Okay.
Or billstearman.com if you're...
It'll get you there,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Bill. I'm just going to say that one more time. So it's at Bill Stearman, and Stearman is Stearman, right?
Bill_Stearman.
Bill_Stearman. You can find him on Instagram and follow along where he's going to be across Canada. Well, Bill, thank you so much. It's so nice to see you again. And thanks for stopping by the podcast lounge.
Thank you. It's always a joy to see you.
You too. Okay, I have a really cool cat in the podcast lounge, and we're going to be talking about retreat centers. But who are you and where you live?
My name is Tina Jackson, and I live in Kansas City.
Okay.
And we have a new retreat center that was built just for quilters. And
I have to say, you showed me pictures, like, oh my goodness, how many quilters can you fit in there?
There are 28 workstations, and it sleeps 28.
Wow.
And so there are a lot of perks for quilt retreats there. All of our tables are adjustable. Everybody gets 2 tables.
Wow.
So everybody gets to work in like an L configuration, which everybody likes to do anyway. And so we just went ahead and made those tables that way. And they're adjustable. The chairs are adjustable. There's 3 ironing stations. There's 3 cutting stations, all adjustable. And the rooms are comfy. And we have a few perks for people that teach workshops. If they want to host their own retreat and bring their people in to teach, we have a studio apartment for them, so they get to stay right there, but they can get away and decompress, so they're ready for the next day.
It is so nice that you say that, because sometimes the teacher just needs to sink into a bathtub at the end of the day because they're so tired.
Yeah,
but that's great.
Because they're on all day and all weekend, so it's good for them to have. And so we do have some things there to relax. We have a hot tub and a massage chair. So we tried to make it where when you go to a retreat, you have the space to create and also the space to walk away and still enjoy the company of the people you're there with. You're usually there with your friends or your guild or, so there's lots of comfy spaces to be there too.
Yeah.
There's 2 living rooms and like a little office area. And my pride and joy room there, I have a quilt library.
Oh, wow.
And right now, the word has been out that we take books, and I have some vintage magazines. I don't take a lot of magazines, but I do have some really cool vintage magazines. We have over 1,000 quilt books.
I want to talk a little bit more about kind of like the programming. So you've already mentioned that teachers can come in and teach and bring their people, but do you have a website where you offer things and people can sign up, or how does it all work?
If you go to artnestretreat.com, you can see there'll be a list of events. So all of these instructors that are teaching workshops, those links are available on our website.
Okay.
We also host open retreats. We have a lot of people who want to just try it out first. Maybe you're the guinea pig for your guild or your friend group, and so you can sign up for, we call them open retreats. There's no instruction there. You're just coming and relaxing and sewing. For all of our programming is signed up. The pricing online is for like Thursday through Sunday, but you can tailor that to whatever your group needs. And all those pricings are on there too. And you can see all the amenities on the website. And
so you've talked about that you can work there, play there on your quilt, and do everything that you're doing in the retreat, and then you're also staying there. But tell me a little bit about the food. What are we eating?
Well, the food is tricky. That is one. For open retreats, I do continental breakfast and serve lunch.
Nice.
If you're the organizer for your group, then you're figuring that out. There's super easy ways that big groups can do food. One of the easiest way is each bedroom makes one meal.
Yeah.
And then, not everybody's doing a little tiny bit of work, but not a lot. We do have a caterer that's specific for Art Nest that you can hire that's already been in the facility, knows where everything is at, and she'll come in and cook for the groups too if they want to hire a caterer. And so we have a lot of options for groups, and really just depends on their pricing and where they want it to land and how they want to do the food.
Yeah, so before you came over here, like 3 or 4 different people told me, oh, you got to meet the lady from the Art Nest. So tell me, how did you come up with the name?
Well, I wanted it to be just about that quilting is also artistry, and we are open to other crafts. Like if somebody wants to have a painting retreat there, or quilting, knitting, or we have a lot of scrapbookers that sometimes come. So it can be. I wanted it to not be specific, but I am a quilter, and all of the amenities were made for quilters. So all those little things that people want at a retreat, I want them to already be there. I don't like to haul a lot of stuff, so I want all the stuff to already be there when I come, and I don't have to bring less stuff. You don't have to bring that little side table. You don't have to bring a light. All of our lighting in the place, we had a lighting company that came out, and the lights are a certain feet from the floor and a certain space apart, so the casting and the shadows is right for the space. So that you don't have to bring a light. Like all those little things.
That is wonderful. Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about the area? Like, so remind us where you are in the world and what's the area like? Do you want to come in the winter all year round?
Okay, so we're 30 minutes north of the Kansas City airport. So easy to fly in for people who have workshops and they're having people come from out of town. It is the town that we're in is called Agency, Missouri. There's nothing there. It's a small little town, and but we are 10 minutes from the next big town, which is St. Joe, and so even it's a country setting. So you're kind of out in the country. The sunsets there are beautiful. I am a city girl, but I'm not going to lie, when you're there, it is nice. It's especially if it's different from how you normally live. So it's in the country. It's beautiful. We have a fire pit in the back. We have outdoor areas that you can be. So you get kind of like that relaxing. I'm out in the country. There's no hustle and bustle. You're just there to enjoy yourself. But if you want to go in town for dinner, it's 10 minutes away. And they have everything there. All restaurants, fast food. There's some sightseeing things you can do there too. So if you want to get away and get out too, we're also about 45 minutes from Missouri Quilt Star. So we have some people that will make a trip there and on their retreat. And my favorite thing, that's going to sound crazy, is we are kind of in the middle of the country, but there is a quilt shop 7 minutes away.
Really?
Called So Enchanted Equine. Plug my friend Leah. And she, and her mom passed away and left her some money, and she told her to follow her dream. So she has a quilt shop on her farm.
So Enchanted.
So Enchanted Equine, 7 minutes from the Art Nest, so everyone can shop too.
Oh, that is so fun. Well, this sounds like a really fun adventure. You could plan it yourself. You could show up to something that's already happening. So let's do the website one more time, and where can we find you on social media?
Social media, we're under Art Nest Retreat, and our website is artnestretreat.com, so we're super easy to find. And we would love for you guys to give us a look and try us out.
That sounds so great. Well, Tina, thank you so much for stopping by the podcast.
Thank you for handing. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. We are in the Oliso Story Space, and I have Colleen here. Thank you. It's so nice. Thanks for coming by. It's so nice to see you again. This is a very good friend of mine. We are both NACQJ judges and friends, and you've been doing some fun things lately. So tell me what's going on in your world right now.
Well, I have been having a lot of fun. I became certified last fall for NACQJ, and so I'm looking forward to judging opportunities, and co-judged my first show as a certified judge in October, and it was great fun because not only did I get to co-judge, but I got to co-judge with my mentor, Kate Elkema from the Minneapolis area, and we had a terrific time, so that was great. And I'm looking forward to more events, more things happening. One of my quilts is currently traveling with the Cherrywood Challenge, and I am viciously working on their next challenge, which is the Abyss. So I was here shopping at Road to California. I needed some perfect thread colors, and I needed some soft and stable. They do recommend that now for making them hang just so beautifully, and they're cutting it bigger, so that's awesome. But no, I'm having a lot of fun with quilting.
And you are a lecturer as well. So I want you to tell us a little bit about the lecture you did at was it QuiltCon last year?
Yes. QuiltCon last year. I did a lecture called Back Talk, and it's about all things about the backs of quilts, things we think about when we're going to decide which fabric to use, what thread to use, all those kinds of things. I go through everything from whole cloth backs, batik backs, getting into pieced backs, which are getting to be more and more popular. People are making design statements. They're making things to be really personal to the recipient. They're adding history to it by including the label, and I really encourage everyone to label their quilt with as much information in whatever way suits their skills. And there's lots of things out there about labeling. Quilt Alliance is here as a national organization to really promote that labeling aspect. So after that point, I did have some guilds request that I did that as a Zoom for their guild. So I've started doing Zoom lectures. I do that one, as well as my class was on modern traditionalism. And a guild in Tulsa, Oklahoma contacted me and said, we don't do classes online, but would you turn your class into a 45-minute lecture? So that one is also available on Zoom. And my website is www.QuiltJudgeColleen. And my first name is Colleen, or you can just Google Colleen Carlson and you'll find me. So.
Okay, now I just have to say, I have to give you a little plug here because I saw your lecture. And so if you're listening right now or watching us on YouTube right now and you're thinking of booking a lecturer for your guild and you want someone fresh and new with great ideas, Colleen is so thorough in her research and she's dynamic on the stage and sometimes hilarious, and it's just a really good lecture. So I encourage you to check it out. So can you tell us before we go, where can we find you on Instagram?
Okay, my Instagram account is RxQuilt. And I chose that because I have such an extremely common name, and also I am a retired pharmacist. So using the RX and quilt, and I think of it like a treatment. You should quilt. It's good therapy. So yeah.
Colleen Carlson, thank you so much for stopping by the Podcast Lounge.
Yes, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Great to see you.
I have a special guest in the Podcast Lounge who has been on the podcast before, so I'll just let you introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, my name is Lena Owen. I'm from Bluebell Designs and Quilting with Latinas.
Bluebell Designs and Quilting with Latinas. Now, this was such a great podcast episode, so I really recommend that you go back and find it, Lena Owen. So, Lena, what is happening with you at QuiltCon this year?
Oh my God, Brandy, for the first time I got to teach at QuiltCon, and so it was such an amazing experience. It was just fantastic. First, being able to become part of the faculty of such a prestigious event like QuiltCon. So, and the students were marvelous. They were so kind, sweet, and we just had an amazing time. And it was a sold-out class, which for a first-time teacher is like, you expect that you're just gonna get the minimum students, right? And just like do the best that you can. But to be sold out, it was just like, oh my God.
Oh, that is so great. And so just knowing and having had you on the podcast, I can probably guess that it might be a bag that you made in the class. So tell us about your workshop.
Yes, it was called the Taco Love Pouch. And so it was a zipper pouch that had a curve on the top. And I was so surprised that, you know, even beginners were able to just get through it, and 90% of the class finished on the spot, so that everybody left so excited. And it's like, oh, we're gonna make them for gifts. Like a lady that came from the UK came and took my class, and so what she did is that she showed me that she used it like her little lunch bag, and she put all her treats, her banana. It's like, it even fits my banana.
Oh, that is so great. So how are you enjoying QuiltCon this year?
Oh my God, it's just been so amazing connecting with you, connecting with, you know, everybody in the industry, and my friends that are just here to root for me and support me. Is just amazing.
Oh, that is so awesome. So can you tell us where you live in the world?
Oh my God, I live in a little tiny town in Wisconsin, and so the change of the weather has been fantastic, because when I flew out of Chicago, it was like 1 degree.
Oh geez, that's cold. That's Fahrenheit. That's really cold.
Yes, that was cold. But I mean, you're in Canada, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in Canada. So
yes. So was it cold when you came?
Well, you know what? We don't get much snow where I live in the Okanagan, but we did get a nice little dump of a few inches before I left. So I came here to Phoenix. My husband went to Mexico, and we'll be both home at the end of next week. So we'll be back in the snow pretty soon.
Oh, okay. So that's fantastic.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about what you bring to the world with your business, because you do retreats and you do education. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So in my tiny little town, I have a little studio that has 10 machines, and I concentrate at teaching with children. And so that just fills my heart. And so I run classes with the local school district and the school districts around. And I also have a passion to bring in this beautiful art to my Hispanic community. Being Colombian, as if everybody listens to my podcast, you will know. And so being able to bring a bilingual content into your quilting community and be more inclusive is a passion of mine. And so we've been working really hard for the book that is going to be finally published in the fall. So we enter and we turn in all of our manuscripts and photographs and everything that we needed to do, illustrations for the book, so everything is set so that we have it published in the fall.
Oh, you're almost there. So what's the title of the book?
So it's going to be the 101 Bilingual Guide for Quilting.
So great.
And so it's going to be the first of its kind. There's nothing in the market of, you will find this book and you will have your guide. It will be walking you through English and Spanish at the same time as you read everything, and you will find things of how they or indigenous background and prehistoric background has influenced quilting, and how the Hispanic community has infused color and vibrancy to the beautiful art of quilting.
Oh, that is so great. Okay, I want to finish off by talking about some of the retreats you've done. Are you doing some more, and how did it go in the past?
Oh, the retreats has been fantastic. So I am hosting the first Spanish retreats that I did at Missouri Star. So I'm still finding out the details for this year's retreat. And so when I have more, I will definitely share with you. But one thing that I am doing is that I am teaching at Missouri Star Quilt Academy in June. And so that's where I'm going to have the opportunity to kind of finalize details for the upcoming retreat.
Oh, that is so great. Okay, so before we go, can you tell us your website and where can we find you on social media?
Yes, and so you can find me in two places. You can find me at bluebell_designs on Instagram, and Quilting with Latinas, very simple. And the website is quiltingwithlatinas.com. And my website for Bluebell Designs is a little bit more complicated because I couldn't just buy an easy domain. So it's bbdesignshop.com.
Okay, great. And so, Lena, thank you so much for stopping by the podcast lounge. It's so nice to see you in person.
Oh, thank you so much, Brandy, always for having me. It's a pleasure.
I have Laura Moore stopping by the podcast lounge. So tell me a little bit about your quilty biz.
Yeah, so I am here at QuiltCon just to get inspired and to connect the quilting community. Just all the fabric designers and the pattern designers are so collaborative and supportive, and my goal is to take that momentum of that community that we share and really bring it to the younger generation.
Yeah, so you work with children, so tell me all about it.
Yeah, so I teach creativity. So my background is in education. I was a high school teacher for many years, and I now have 3 young kids that are 7, 9, and 11, and I have so much fun doing creative things with them. I feel like I'm getting a second go at childhood, getting to just like explore and discover. In the last 8 years, I've had an outdoor nature explore sewing camp program called Sew Your Adventure.
Oh, that's
and fun. It's a blast. We learn creativity and courage and more than just sewing.
Yeah, so tell me all about how that went. So you would have kids come in and they would just, it was like a kit that they open up and they just start getting creative?
So my master's is in curriculum and instruction, and I write all the patterns and all the workbooks, and every summer has a theme. So Once Upon a Tea Party, or we'll have Once Upon a Celebration. This summer is Once Upon a Road Trip. We're going to be making little go bags that disguise as pillows. And so now I have programs through the Museum of Art in Old Town, and
Yeah, so
last
Old Town.
summer.
So where are you in the world?
I'm in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Fort Collins, Colorado. Okay.
Yeah.
That is great. So it's really a local thing, so people can come if they live around the area, or they can travel to you. That's great.
Yep. However, coming to QuiltCon, my goal is to take this into homes. So one thing that would always happen, parents and grandparents would be so excited for their kids. They'd come out of camp really excited, but then they would have a panic moment. Either they don't know how to support them, and they feel stressed about that. And so I started writing, I'm calling it Start So Simple, for the parents as well, to be able to connect in a way with their kids through sewing. And that unexpectedly has become the most rewarding part of all of my programs. And so this spring, piloting, I have subscription box summer camp in a kit that I'm hoping to bring to homes everywhere where there's an adult, grandparents, or parents that want to connect in a creative way with their kids at home. And I'm saying be the thread, so pass on the legacies that they have as a creative person to the kids that they care about.
Yeah, well, it's so nice that you're bringing generations together, because it's not just a parent tucking their kid into a camp and then they come home and they do something else. The parents getting involved, right? That is so great. Okay, so if people are watching right now, where can they find you? Do you have a website?
Yep. So come to sewyouradventure.com and you can see what camp is like. And the goal is that this isn't something that just happens for these lucky Colorado kids. It's something that will go into homes, and the reason behind all of the work I'm doing now has morphed into becoming more about becoming a tool that's easy for parents and grandparents to connect with their creative kids at home.
I
and
love
that feels really exciting.
So good. Okay, and one more thing, Instagram. Where can we find you on Instagram?
Yep. Sew Your Adventure, but with the dots.
With the dots in it. So if you search Sew Your Adventure, it'll probably pop up. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for stopping by
It was so nice to meet you.
And sharing a bit of your story.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, everyone. Teresa Duer Wong has stopped by the podcast lounge. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So I want to talk about everything that's happening for you at QuiltCon this year.
It's been such a great event to be back in Phoenix again.
I know, it's fun.
It's hard to even remember we were here. It's such a blur.
I know, it's crazy. The last time I saw you at QuiltCon, you were doing a lecture on stage with David Owen Hastings.
Yes.
And you guys had gorgeous outfits that were really anyway. So what are you doing this year?
We did not do a joint lecture this year, but maybe next year. But I just saw David. He's always such a great friend.
Yeah, I love him.
So I have a quilt in the show this year, which I'm super excited about.
Tell me about
so
it.
competitive, to get into QuiltCon, so it's such an honor.
I heard a little stat that it was like 20-30% only get in, so that's a big deal. So congratulations. What kind of quilt does it look like?
It's in the pieced category, and it's huge, and it's mostly black, so you can't miss it.
I've seen it. I love it. I've seen it.
And the title is Manhattan, and it's improv inside of straight lines and really large. So.
A labor of love.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congratulations for getting that in the show.
Thank you.
And you're spending a lot of time with Quilt Alliance this year. They gave me a handkerchief I was wearing earlier today.
Oh, yeah.
And it reminded me to talk about labels and the importance of that. Yeah.
And that's our whole message here, is just label your quilts because your story is important.
Yeah.
And keeping that story for future generations is important.
I was really thrilled. Recently, I was on Leslie Tucker Jennerson's Live on Instagram with Oliso's Michelle Muscat and Amy Milne from the Quilt Alliance, and we were talking about just that. And I told a little story about my mother-in-law who recently passed this year, but she had left information about different tidbits about different quilts, and it just gave us so much joy when we were going through her quilts. So anyway, that was really heartwarming.
So important,
it really is. The Quilt Alliance is all about sharing the story, just like my podcast. I love that, and I'm about lifting people up, but it's so important to learn that history, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about your lecture, because you have a lecture coming up.
Yes, I have a lecture tomorrow.
What is it about?
And so this one's really different. It is about the history of cochineal dye, red dye from Mexico.
Okay.
So I go back to the 1500s and talk about how this dye was when the Spaniards colonized Mexico and how they took it out to Europe and around the world.
Wow, that is fascinating. And I love that QuiltCon brings such forward-thinking well-researched lectures to the table.
Yeah, it's
You know,
different.
you're not, I mean, a lot of lectures are a beautiful trunk show and we love them all, but
Yeah.
QuiltCon has some really cool stuff. I love
Yes.
that they're choosing you to do this.
Thank
and you
you.
are a speaker here again and again. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I
this
have
is
to
my 7th year.
Well, I have to congratulate you because
Thank
you're
you.
obviously doing the right amount of research. You're bringing the cool topics to the table and they're loving it. So
Thank
great.
you.
Well, good luck with that tomorrow.
Yes.
I want to know kind of what's your favorite thing about QuiltCon?
You know, it's the people.
Yeah.
For sure.
Me too.
But QuiltCon's like a homecoming
Yeah.
week. You know, we all are connected on social media and we see each other, and so many people are in their own local guilds and then they're all coming here together. So it's just like every, 5 feet or whatever, you're seeing someone that you know and you stop and hug and take selfies, and it's just so cool to reconnect.
Yeah, I love QuiltCon. And
Yeah.
one more thing I want to say before I let you go is that you are always doing so many cool things. You've either got a book going on or something. So what else is happening in your quilting world besides QuiltCon?
Oh, I have a book coming out.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
In May, I have a book coming out on Japanese applique quilts called Kawaii Applique Quilts from Japan.
Awesome.
And I co-authored it with Naomi Ichikawa, who is a Japanese, and she and I have been friends for over a decade, and we just decided to work together on this book, and it's done, and it's coming out in May, and we're so excited.
That is so exciting.
Yeah.
Let's talk for 1 second about the importance of that, about collaborating with a creator, because I remember seeing a lecture in 2022 at QuiltCon that was called Cultural Appropriation versus Cultural Appreciation. So joining together with a creator like that, you are really appreciating the culture. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, it is a fine line,
Yeah.
and I research and have give lectures and written books about many, many cultures that are not my own.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that you have to be Amish to study Amish quilts,
absolutely.
as long as you're doing it with respect and bringing these cultural differences are interesting, right? And that we should explore other cultures and celebrate other quilters. So I've also done research and lectures on Black quilters and tons of research on Japanese quilters and. Naomi and I actually wrote 2 different essays at the beginning with our different takes, right?
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
so what is an insider's take and what is an outsider's take on
that
this?
is so great.
Sort of bringing those differences and different ideas to the forefront.
Yeah, well, sweet. Well, congratulations on getting a quilt in the show
Thank
and
you.
being a speaker again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for stopping by the podcast lounge.
I appreciate it. Good to see everyone.
I am in the Oliso story space with one of my favorite quilters on earth, Genesis Hall. So Genesis, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
You're enjoying QuiltCon?
Yes, it's been really good.
Okay, I want to talk about your quilt that is in the show because I have seen it numerous times. I've seen it at H&H, I've seen it in the UK, and now it's here again. So can you describe the quilt to us?
So I first made the quilt for H&H Americas, and it's a picture of me pixelated into a quilt and has Genesis, the endless possibilities of beginning. And it was for the inaugural Next Gen exhibit at H&H Americas. And then it went on to the Festival of Quilts where it won first place. And it's also hanging today in QuiltCon.
Yeah, and I can't tell you. First of all, I saw it at H&H. I was really excited to see it there. And then I went to the Festival of Quilts in the UK. Oh, I was actually at the knitting and stitching show where I was at. And then I saw it there and I was like, oh, this is my gal. I was so excited to see it there. So what happened there? Did it go on display at a few different shows after that?
So yes, so after the Festival of Quilts where it won first place, they take all their winners and go to all the knitting and stitching shows. So it continued on there.
Awesome. So here we have it here today. You entered it in QuiltCon. You never know if it's going to get in, right?
No, we don't.
You don't know. So how did you feel when you got the email?
I was so excited. I was honored to be able to hang in QuiltCon.
So it looks lovely in the show. So what's your favorite part of QuiltCon?
My favorite part, that's so hard. I think it's trying to be able to see all our friends from years past and connect with all the companies through the vendors and also see the amazing quilts on display.
Yeah. Okay, I want to talk about a few other exciting things that are happening in your world. So let's talk about fabric.
So I am actually coming out with my very first fabric collection. It's called The Genesis of a Journey, and Briley Blake Designs has been helping me with my collection.
Oh, that is so exciting. So what was that like? Are they working together with you to come up with the prints and the things like that?
Yeah, so I've been designing it alongside their graphic designers. They have been really helping me because I've never done this before.
So great. Okay, so let's just give them a snippet. If they haven't seen me talking to you on the heard me talking to you on the podcast, or seen me interviewing you before, give us a little snippet to how long have you been quilting and how old are you? Because this is pretty monumental. Like, you're doing a really great job for your age.
Yes, so I am 15 years old and I've been quilting and sewing for the past 4.5 years. I started at a little sewing studio and that's where I learned, and I've just continued from there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Genesis, I want to say thank you for coming by, and
Yes.
congratulations on getting your quilt in QuiltCon and all the other wonderful awards that you've won for it. And thanks for stopping by. Oh, and the fabric line. I mean, I can't wait till that comes out. Do you know what time of year it's going to come out?
So it shows to everybody March 1st and ships to shops in November.
Oh my gosh. So if you're a quilt shop owner, think about having fabric made by a youth, of course. It's going to be so awesome. Thank you so much for stopping by the podcast lounge.
Thank you so much, Brandy, as well.
I've got Susan Smith in the podcast lounge. Thank you for stopping by.
Absolutely. It's so fun that you have your own little podcasting cubicle
it's super
here
fun.
at
I get to
QuiltCon.
talk to so many great people. So it's nice to see you again. And so what are you doing at QuiltCon? Are you just here to enjoy, have some fun?
I am. This is my first ever QuiltCon.
Really?
And I think my first time at a major quilt show where I have no attachments, no responsibilities in a booth. So I'm just
You don't
out
have to do the
exploring.
bringing along, or
Nope.
you just
Nope,
enjoying
I'm
the
just
show.
round and around and around the floor, meeting people. It's so good.
So what's been your favorite part so far?
I think, like everyone else that I'm talking to in my podcast, it's
Yeah.
the energy level.
Yeah.
QuiltCon just has this, QuiltCon has this enthusiasm and vibrancy that I've not really seen at other shows.
Yeah.
You know, not the least of which is Ruby Star Society and their daily
I know.
fashion
So
shows
fun.
and
Yeah.
applause and all
Yeah.
those things that
People
just
were wearing
really
overalls
contributes.
one day, and they were
Mhm.
wearing caftans another day. A
Yes.
lot of fun.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about your quilty biz. You bring some fun stuff to the world, so tell me about that.
Well, I am a machine quilter, but these days my business really is helping other quilters.
Yeah.
So, particularly novice quilters, I would say, and just reassuring them, teaching them the basics, and then the step-by-step levels to grow and advance their skills. So I do that through a monthly membership, on-demand online courses.
Yeah.
I have a YouTube channel, a podcast.
Yeah.
So in all those places, I'm just out there to encourage and help other
Yeah,
quilters.
so let's talk about the podcast a little bit, because I have listeners. They get my podcast once a week, but there's 6 other days of the week. So tell us what they can
Well,
listen
mine comes
to.
out on Wednesday. What
Okay.
day is yours?
Tuesdays.
Tuesday?
Yeah,
I thought so.
Tuesdays.
There you go. 2 days of the week
Yeah,
are covered.
there you go.
Yeah, so every day at Wednesday, or every week Wednesday at noon. And this season, I am organizing it into seasons. So this season is kind of business-related topics. So the people that I'm talking to
fun.
are entrepreneurs and business builders, and then some of the episodes are just me kind of talking about my journey and the things that I've learned.
Yeah, super fun. Oh, that's great. Well, and so let's talk to everybody about where they can find you online, your website, if they're interested in the membership, and then where they can find you on social media.
Sure. So I am Stitched by Susan on all the platforms, website included, stitchedbysusan.com. And then the podcast can be found directly there, or you can look for Measure Twice, Cut Once.
Measure Twice, Cut Once.
I
It's a
mean,
great
what else is a
podcast.
quilter going to be?
Yeah, so fun. And I've been on that podcast as well, so you want to go back and look for that episode.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, well, thank you so much for stopping by the podcast lounge. It's so
It's
nice to
been
see you in
fun.
person again.
Indeed. Till next time.
Awesome. I'm here in the Oliso Story Space with Corey Pearson.
Hi, guys.
Nice to meet you. Well, I've met you before, but
Yes.
nice to see
Yeah,
you again.
good to see you too.
So tell us in a nutshell, what do you bring to the quilty world with your biz? What are you doing here?
So I am here with Linda's today.
Mm-hmm.
We are an online and in-store quilt shop. We feature so many different things. We're really well known for our wide back fabrics. We have over 1,000 wide backs
Oh,
in stock.
that's a good
I know,
selection.
it's a great selection, especially when you don't want to piece things together. It's not me.
Yeah.
We're not
So
piecing
where
and
is
backing.
Linda's located in the world?
So we are a little north of Dallas in McKinney, Texas.
Okay.
We've been in business since 1995.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting. And then what I bring to the quilting space is I am featured heavily on the YouTube channel at Linda's.
Fun.
So I do all of the long arm quilting on there. So I teach people all over the world how to long arm quilt.
So fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so just give us an idea. When we go over to the YouTube channel, first
Yeah.
of all, is it called Linda's Quilt Shop on YouTube?
So it's Linda's Electric Quilters.
Okay, Linda's
Yeah.
Electric Quilters. So
Yeah.
you can find them there on YouTube. And when you go there, I'm telling you, subscribe. You want to fill your feeds, you want to fill, especially on
Yes.
social media, fill
Yeah.
your feeds with the people that you love, right?
All the things,
So when we
yes.
go over to that channel,
Yeah.
what kind of things are we going to, do you have some playlists of some fun stuff?
Yes, so we've got playlists. I've got things built out on either long arm quilting or if you're doing domestic machine quilting. I also have a podcast myself.
Oh, fun.
So
Tell
on
us
there,
about that.
so it's called Corey's Cast,
Okay.
and I interview all sorts of different people. Actually, Michelle's will be launching today at 11 o'clock.
Cool.
So that'll be really cool. But I interview all sorts of different quilters, industry professionals, trying to get everyone's different stories, kind of like you.
Yeah, so you interviewed Michelle of Oliso
I did,
Irons.
yeah.
Oh, that was a great episode for me, so I'm sure it'll do really
It
well
was
for you.
so wonderful.
You know quilters love their irons,
Oh
right?
gosh,
Yeah,
it's
so
the best thing.
When we can get that information on how to use it properly, how to take care of it,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, then the little extra tips that she even gave, like on the M3 mini project iron, I didn't know that you could flip the where the cord is on it.
Yes.
It's got the, she told me it left-handed, right-handed. I was like, oh my gosh.
So good.
It was incredible.
I was teaching a class on Zoom with that little mini iron, and she gave me the new one.
Yeah.
Because I have abused my old original yellow iconic one so badly because I'm an art quilter and I've got paint all over it. And she's like, you need a new one for your Zooms. And anyway, one of the classmates, one of the students in the class, said, is there a headlight on your iron?
You didn't even know you needed a headlight until you got it,
and
right?
Once you got it, you're like, oh, I can see that seam really
And
well.
it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's okay. So what are you doing today in the Oliso booth over there?
So Michelle asked me to come over here and show off some of our different products. I'm looking at some of the amazing marking pencils that we carry that just make sketching out on your fabric so much easier. And then if you don't like it, you just grab your Oliso and you just iron it away. And it just disappears.
Like
it's
magic.
magic. It evaporates. It's beautiful.
Okay, so
all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah, so before we go, I want to make sure we tell people where they can find Linda's online, where they can find you on YouTube, and then tell us a little bit about your other socials. So give us all the online stuff.
So you can follow us online at Linda's Electric Quilters. We've got Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, all the things.
Okay.
As well as, did I say YouTube? I did. I might not
YouTube,
have. Oh,
so
YouTube. There you go.
Electric Quilters
Linda's
on
Electric
YouTube
Quilters.
as well.
Yes,
Okay,
and
cool.
then me personally, it is SEW Coco Pearson.
Coco, like
Coco.
C-O-C-O-A?
C-O-C-O.
Oh, just no A at
Yeah,
the
yeah,
end. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
not the real like chocolatey.
No. All of my little nieces and nephews, they call me Uncle Coco. So it just kind of it clicked. So.
Well, super nice to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Bye, guys.
Bye. We have Michael Eason in the podcast lounge today. Thank you for stopping by. My friend Baird the Quilter is a friend of yours.
He is,
He
yes.
brought you by like we have to meet. So
Yes.
I would love to talk about what you're bringing to the quilting world.
Sure. So about a year and a half ago, I had gotten into English paper piecing, and I really love it. It's a passion. And as I was doing it, I was looking for the ability to be more creative with it. And so I kind of started playing around with my own designs and making my own shapes.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it becomes this thing that you just, without really knowing where it's going to go, it's kind of become a thing. I've got workshops going and hoping to be able to have a quilt in QuiltCon next year. I'm working on it, so we'll just have to get it finished by October.
Fun. So is this your first QuiltCon?
No, this is my second. I live near Raleigh.
Okay.
So I got to go to the one in North Carolina last year.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the fun that you had as part of Libs Elliott's membership, and then you got to teach.
Yes, so Libs Elliott Sew Squad is amazing. I love it. It's a wonderful community, so supportive. I've enjoyed being able to connect with a lot of people in person here this week.
Oh, good.
But like, she put out a request last year to the Sew Squad saying, hey, does anybody have an idea or something they would like to teach? And I'd been toying with this idea for a little bit on my own, and I was like, I've never done this, I'm really nervous, but I can pitch this to you if you would like. I did that. She was like, this is really original, like I've not seen this. And like the fabric choices play with it, like you just see what happens. So it's a really cool, it was a really cool experience to be able to teach to the Sew Squad in June last year. And then it sat on the shelf for a little bit. As I continued to work on things myself and like, do I really want to do this? It was a really great experience. But I came to the conclusion, yes, this is something I really enjoy. I want to make more time for this in my life outside of my secular job. And so I taught to the Madison, Wisconsin Quilt Guild in February. And then I do my local guild in March, so I'm really excited about all that.
So it's kind of like you're creating your own original designs, and then you're putting them into English paper pieces.
Correct.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Okay, so if people are listening right now and they want to find you online, where can they find you?
So I have both Instagram and a website. My handle for Instagram is Quilchemy. It's QuilChemy.
Okay.
And then the website is www.quilchemy.com.
Oh, kind of like a play on alchemy.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So fun. Well, it was so nice to meet you. I
You as well.
really appreciate you stopping by.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. I am so excited. I have Rada Weaver in the podcast lounge. You have been on the podcast. It was so much fun. You need, if you're watching right now, you need to go back and find the episode with Rada Weaver. It was a really great conversation. We had so much fun. So this is your first QuiltCon?
My second.
Second, okay.
My second, yeah.
And
Raleigh was my first.
Raleigh was your first, and how are you enjoying it this time?
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Incredibly overwhelmed, like usual. Just, seeing everybody, and which is awesome, even though such an introvert.
I know.
It's like this is the first time we've got to meet in real life, and there's so many just awesome people in the quilt world that, you only get to see at these shows.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I haven't even got to see all the quilts yet.
I know,
so
I still have a third of the quilt show to go and do live for all my peeps who love to watch online. So this is actually, you told me yesterday, this is your second time at QuiltCon, and so you've had quilts 2 years in a row.
I have.
So can you tell me about those quilts?
Yes, I mean, can I? I don't do a lot of large scale quilts, so when I do, they're generally things that I am very passionate about and put a lot of work into, and both of them have been upcycled. Of course, that's what I do.
Yeah.
With really focus on using upcycled denim. Actually, both have had leather in them, upcycled leather, and that's just, it's what I do, but it's also what I'm super passionate about and what I love. So it's been really great to get them in both years, just to be able to help have that represented, here, and really have people kind of see what's possible with upcycled materials.
Yeah, and it's a big deal to get your quilt into QuiltCon because there's a small percentage that actually get in. So 2 years in a row is wonderful. So can you tell me a little bit about your upcycled ideal? Why do you do that?
Yeah, I worked in the apparel industry for 15 years, and when I finally left during the pandemic, so burnt out, it was a moment for me to really reconnect kind of with my creative background, because I went to school for design, I used to sew, but do it in a way that felt right to me, which was upcycling jeans. I worked in the denim industry, and it wasn't necessarily that I wanted to make a point about textile waste or sustainability. It was more that I fell in love with denim when I was in the apparel industry, and I know how cool it is and what it can do. And then quilting was this amazing opportunity to make art with denim. And so it just felt kind of natural.
Yeah, and let's talk about the quilt that's in the show today, this week. So this one is really cool. You use every part of the jeans, and I see folds, it's like you've unfolded the cuff and you can see the white part that's, so tell me a little bit about how you use everything and what this quilt is all about.
Yeah, so this quilt it's actually not just made from jeans, but made from some factory wash panels, which I know sounds like a very technical term, but I volunteer at a creative reuse center that is in San Francisco, where Levi's is, and they had a while back donated a bunch of stuff they'd gotten from a factory, which is just samples and different, they're called legs, where it's just a part of a leg. And I wanted to kind of take these manufactured from the factory samples plus denim that I had hand dyed with indigo. So two very different things, and use them together in a quilt. And so sometimes I don't like people to know actually that the quilt was made of jeans. I'd like it to be more of a surprise when you get up close. But I love lights and darks, and something that is so cool about jeans, if you take them all apart, is in the seams, it's always going to be a lot darker because it hasn't been faded or worn, and it's kind of like a treasure hunt. If you take a pair of jeans apart, finding those different contrasting pieces.
Yeah, and speaking of contrast, you have some wonderful camel colored leather in there as well. So where do you source that from? The same place?
Same. I got everything in that quilt from Scrap, San Francisco, which is where I volunteer. I feel a little bit spoiled being there because, my material budget for the year is like $10 because it's amazing resource. But yeah, there was a lot of leather that was donated, and I went to school for costume design, and I have years of experience working with leather. Yeah. And it's also just an amazing textile that I think is so cool, especially with quilting, to be able to use it.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about what you bring to the quilty world with your business.
Yeah, so, my goal is to connect people in fabric. So it is not about judging and shaming people for buying new things or for what they do. It's about knowing that there is so much amazing fabric out there in the world, in people's stashes not getting used, in the attic somewhere, and showing people that you can buy new fabric, but you can also get amazing fabric secondhand. And most recently what that meant is I bought Feel Good Fibers from Kim and Tom Soper, which is a de-stash website where quilters can go on and sell their stash to other quilters. And sometimes it's actually a big creative release when you let something go, maybe that you bought a number of years ago, and it's no longer your style anymore. And it's okay to let that stuff go and make a little bit of money doing it, and then it gives other people the opportunity to maybe get that for a little bit less, maybe couldn't afford to, or who knows, maybe that's sold out. I mean, there is some like Tula Pink out of print stuff on there as well. But it made me so happy to be able to buy this site and let it continue, because it is just another resource. Gosh, quilting can be expensive. And we all know how much, when you're buying new fabric, how much that costs. So being able to offer kind of this service, and I look at it like, what you may not like or may not inspire you probably will inspire someone else. And as quilters, it's so wonderful us to kind of share our stashes and trade and swap, and this is just another way for people to do it.
Yeah, so there's kind of two sides to the story, right? You can either put your fabric on there for sale, or you can just go there and shop.
Yes, absolutely. And it's something, right now it's US only, just because, I know
I'm
you're in
Canadian,
Canada.
that's okay.
We're trying to hopefully expand to Canada this year. But it's a great place to find stuff, and I'm just growing it. Right now it is up. You can go on there and shop right now. It's also, we're finding new ways to categorize and make it searchable and highlight the awesome people that go in and list their product there. And it's been really fun too to kind of get to know some of the people that use the site. And and for me, because I only buy secondhand fabric, it's actually been a little dangerous because now I'm seeing all this stuff that's getting listed, and I'm like,
oh no, I want that.
Amanda from Broadcloth Studios lists her stuff there, and I think she recently listed some stuff, and I was like, sorry, you just listed this, I'm buying it all for myself.
Oh, that is so great. Well, it's nice to offer that as a secondhand choice. It's nice for people to be able to do that. And also, I mean, you talk all the time on your TikTok and on your Instagram about use what you have and enjoy what you love. And I actually wanted to tell you, I had a creator come in here earlier and talk about pulling the thread out of jeans and reusing that. And I remember you talking about that before on your TikTok as well. So if people are watching right now and they want to go to that site and buy something or list their fabric in the USA, what's the website?
It is called Feel Good Fibers, and it's feelgoodfibers.com.
Okay, and if they want to connect with you on social media, where can they go?
I am sewing through fog everywhere. We were just joking. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. Instagram is where I probably am the most. And I do, I also have a website, sewingthroughfog.com, and I love when people reach out to me and ask questions. I have a lot of free tutorials on my website, on my blog, just fun projects for like upcycling and getting started working with denim.
Well, fun. So Sewing Through Fog, thank you so much for stopping by, Rhoda. It's been nice to share a bit of your story.
You're one of my favorite people to talk to, Brandy.
Thank you.
I'm not just saying that because we're recording.
Thank you.